Thank you for tuning into our seller interview series. Up today, we've got a service business for sale in the photography niche. 2003, this business makes $1,893 per month in net profit, and the listing number for the site is 43821. We do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the sites they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. How are you doing today, Marav?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really well. It's been a busy morning, but I'm looking forward to our chat today.
Me too.
So before we dive into the questions that I have for you today, I want to run through a quick summary of the business. Again, it was built in May of 2003, has a monthly revenue of $9,443, expenses of $7,550 to make for a net profit of $1,893, which is built on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are 2 domain names, one of them is unused, a website, social media accounts, which include Facebook and Twitter, and over 12,000 customer information, including mailing address and email. Marav, can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Yes, I've been doing online businesses since 2000. I created 6 different startups all around technology. And even if it's a photography service like this one, it's still run on technology. And that's my specialty. My specialty is in creating systems and optimization and usability. So making sure that the site is very user-friendly. But I've done all the back end of this business. We have a proprietary back end. And all the front end, we have 5 or 6 different interfaces that for the photographers and for the customers and for coaches and for partners, and everything works together seamlessly. Everything is fully automated. So that's my specialty, is automation and systems and building the software. And I've done it with this business and with the 5 other businesses.
How does this business make money?
It makes money because people book a photo shoot with one of our photographers, and we pay the photographer a part of it, and the rest we keep.
How did you come up with the idea to start this business?
Well, we saw that there was a niche of people who really, really needed better photos, and nobody was doing it at that time. We're talking a long time ago, 2000. When we started talking about it was 2002, and nobody was doing it, and everybody thought it was a good idea. Everybody thought it was really needed, and we thought it was needed based on our experience. And we said, why not? At first, we talked about doing locally, and then we decided to actually make it global in the United States and in Canada.
So now that you've grown the business and you started in 2003, and before we started the interview, you and I were talking about it, and you mentioned that, this business was built with a lot of passion and a lot of care. So why are you selling the business?
It's been 15 years, so I moved on to other businesses. I'm a serial entrepreneur. My partner also moved on to other businesses. And, we feel like this business really needs some new blood to make it grow and to meet its potential. The passion is not as much as it was 15 years ago. We still think it's a great idea and somebody can do amazing things with it. But, we just can't do it because we moved on to other things.
Yeah, it's natural. It's been, as you said, 15 years. You're ready to do new things.
Exactly.
So when the business was built in May of 2003, looking at where it is now, where you're making $10,000 in monthly revenue, how long did it take to grow it to that point?
It didn't take that long. We started 2003. In 2004, we got a bunch of articles written about us all over the news. We were on TV maybe 4 or 5 times. We were on every major publication from Newsweek to Wall Street Journal to USA Today to just name it. Each one of those publications, we were there. And that's how we picked up. By basically a lot of articles and shows about us, and also by word to mouth. People really like the service and it works really well for them.
So you got kind of lucky with getting a lot of exposure from the articles that were written about you. That's something that went really well when growing the business. Is there anything that went poorly when growing the business? Were there any bumps in the road?
Of course, there's always bumps in the road. The main problem is putting an offline business. It's an online business that has an offline component. So dealing with people, it's all variables you have to deal with. So recruiting the photographers, finding the right photographers that have the right attitude and the right skills to make it happen, that follow through with customers. This was our biggest challenge, But now that they are there, the business is easy. But it took something to recruit the right photographers and train them to do to make the photos look as good as we want them to make it look, and not the way they think it should look. We wanted the photos to be very natural and casual and inviting versus stiff and kind of old-fashioned. So we had to kind of retrain some of the photographers. We had to work with them on customer service and make sure that they provide the customers with what will yield them the best results.
How many different photographers do you have?
We have right now 203 active photographers.
And that is spread out across the US and Canada, correct?
That's correct. We have in our archives, in our database, we have thousands and thousands of photographers of people who applied and weren't accepted because we accept maybe 100 photographer, on average, because we are really picky about the quality of the photos because we stand behind our product. We don't want people to come to us and say, I don't like my photos, I want a refund. So that's why we have to pick the best photographers. And so we are very picky. We're picky because we want good photos and we want them to give good service and we want the customers to be happy. So that means we're picky. We're not choosing just anybody. There's lots and lots and lots of photographers in the United States and Canada. I'm talking maybe like 1 million, like an enormous amount. And they all want to work with us. We just don't accept all of them.
Let's say that you were not going to sell the business and you were going to continue growing it yourself. Would you ever have plans to expand into Europe, Asia, outside of North America?
So the way I created this, as far as the system and the architecture, it is ready for expansion. It was always a very, very scalable business. So if somebody comes along and says, I want to start, doing this service in Australia, in England, whatever, they can do it. It's easy. All you have to do is find the database, plug it in, do a couple of things on the back end, and it's done. Right now, you have to recruit the photographers as well. That would be the main work. If you want to do it in countries that don't speak English, we have a translation kind of facility on the back end that allows you to translate all the variables into whatever language you want. So that can also be done if somebody wants to do it. And it's already built in. You don't have to add that feature later. It's already done.
So it sounds like you already have the means and the work put in to be able to expand. As you said, you built this to be a very scalable business. So why hadn't you done that already?
Just a matter of priorities and deciding to focus on other businesses versus this one and running out of steam, I think that everybody has a certain amount of steam they can put into one business and then they kind of want to move on to do something that is different and new and fresh, So that's why I think it would be great for somebody to take over and kind of bring the new blood into the business so that it's something that they get excited about and they can put their passion into it.
Where's the traffic coming from? How are people finding you?
So there's some traffic that's coming from organic searches. There's a lot of traffic that comes from word to mouth, just people telling their friends. People get great results with the photos and they tell their friends and they come to us. And there's another type of traffic that comes from different referrers, like partners who really believe in what they do. And they send their customers to us to take good photos because they want their customers to get the best results. Yeah, these are the three main ways people come to us.
As you said, you decided to fill a hole within a certain group of people who need quality photos done. Is there a lot of competition within that niche?
No, there's only one competitor. Mm-hmm. And I would say that their photographers are not as good as ours, to say it lightly. We really put emphasis on the quality, and I don't think they do the same. And just one photographer, one competitor. We had actually a few competitors, and they all closed down because they couldn't pull it off. This is a very complex business to pull off as far as the technology behind it, right? And as far as the recruitment of the photographer. These are the two biggest challenges that we had. And not everybody is capable of doing that. I so happen to be a software developer. So for me, these things they come easy, but other people who want to pull it off without the knowledge that I have in technology, that will prove to be very, very challenging for them. So that's why I think it's good because it's very hard to get into the business. There's not going to be a lot of competitors, moving forward.
And even with the one competitor you do have, like you said, between word of mouth and organic searches, you are known as the best within this group.
Absolutely.
So earlier I mentioned that included with the sale of this business are the social media accounts, Facebook and Twitter. How much are you doing with social media marketing?
Not much. I'll be honest with you, we didn't do any marketing for a long time because marketing is not our strength. Both me and my partners were both actually, his background is project management, my background is software development. So we're not marketing people, and so we really kind of neglected that part of the business. So anybody who comes along and have marketing expertise, they can do amazing things with this business, but it's just not us. We're not interested in marketing. We like to do systems and operations and optimize things and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And as you said, it sounds like you've already had great success within North America, and someone who were to come along and have that expertise within social media could use that to grow the business even more.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of things they can do with social media is just unlimited. Not just social media, the whole marketing thing. I mean, going from zero marketing to going full speed on marketing, that can make a difference between making $10,000 a month to making $100,000 a month, easily. It's like the low-hanging fruit, you could say. This marketing in this business is a low-hanging fruit. We're not doing it, somebody else can do it, and they can make it extremely profitable.
You have customer information, which includes mailing address and email addresses for over 12,000 customers. So what are you doing with that information? Are you trying to get repeat customers?
We did a little bit of that. We did a campaign a few months ago of repeat customers. We got some sales. But to be honest with you, again, the marketing thing is not so strong for us. So we didn't really do anything with it. It's just sitting there. A bunch of information, really good, valid. These are all customers. These are not just people who subscribe to a newsletter. These are all customers who paid, right? So this is a very good list, a very good, how do you call it? A clean list. It's not like a bunch of spammy emails or whatever. These are real customers.
It's people who are clearly interested in your service because, like you said, they're previous paying customers.
Exactly. And anybody who wants to take it to the next level can download the list and upload it to Facebook and create an ad or something like that and create a profile for those customers. I don't know. I'm not an expert in Facebook marketing, but I know you can create like a profile based on existing customers and enjoy it that way. I mean, all this data that is available.
So we've talked a little bit about the opportunities available to grow the business more when talking about marketing. Are there any other big opportunities that you see available for this business?
SEO is one of them. We've done SEO years ago and I never even touched it. As you know, if you do SEO, you got to do it a little bit on a continual basis. You can't just drop it and then do it once. It's not like something you do once and you forget about it, right? So if anybody wants to put a little bit of an effort in SEO, they can see great outcome from that. Another thing is like business development. That's another thing that we didn't really do for years. Reaching out to potential partners, to anybody who would think that their customers would benefit from our service. Again, it's like another low-hanging fruit that you can totally do and get a lot of customers coming in. What this business needs is eyeballs and just more people coming and seeing the offering, and they'll buy it. We have a good conversion rate. The website is very good, very user-friendly, because this is something I focus on, usability. So once they come to the door, they'll buy,
You said that you have 203 active photographers within the United States and Canada.
Right.
How much, this might be a silly question, I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but how much of that, landmass, how much of the US and Canada is covered by the photographers? I guess what I'm saying is how many, are there any big areas that aren't covered by the photographers you have?
I'll have to look at our statistics, but the big areas are covered. But do we cover every single city in the United States? No, it's just almost impossible to cover it. But we do have a mechanism on the back end that allows us to see what people are searching for, what zip code they're searching for. And if we see that they're searching for a certain zip code, let's say that people search for a certain zip code, let's say 10 times within 1 month, then we go and find a photographer in that area and we recruit them. Okay, so that we fill that gap. So it's a matter of looking at those opportunities of people searching for a certain zip code, finding where they're missing and recruiting those photographers in those areas.
So by doing it that way, you don't really have many big areas that you aren't covering because you look at, okay, so here are the areas that we need to cover because there's a need for it here. Let's go find a photographer. You find one, and then you've got that area covered.
Yeah, potentially that's what we've been doing. I'm not saying that we are 100% on top of it, but again, that's an area that can be improved. Somebody needs to kind of really be more diligent about it and kind of look for those opportunities. But yeah, it's possible. Technically, like I said, the infrastructure for it is available on the back end to find out those opportunities and kind of like address the problem if they're missing photographers in some areas.
Is there any content on the site, meaning like blog posts or something like that?
Yeah, there are some blog posts. Again, we don't do it actively. I think the last time we posted something was a year ago. So that's another opportunity for people to write blog posts about the niche. It's a very interesting niche. It's a niche that a lot of people are interested in and actively involved in. So I think it'll be very easy to come up with content that is interesting for people and then share it on social media and kind of get this traffic this way. I know that there's some articles that I've written that get, enormous amount of traffic just because of the article, the subject of the article. So it's just about identifying topics related to the niche and getting lots of articles written and then linking it to the offering.
As you said before, this is would you call it there's a lot of people within this group.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would say in the United States at least 40 million.
We talked a little bit about the business before this call, and probably correct. I feel like blog posts and social media marketing and email marketing would be very, very appealing for a new owner of this business just because of the enormous market size.
Yes, the market is enormous. And if you put even just 1% of these people looking at this offering, that's it. You got yourself millions of dollars a year in business. No problem. That's not a problem. In fact, the conversion rate is good. The offering is good. The system is stable and it's scalable. So there's no reason why not to scale it right away with enormous amount of traffic.
We've talked a lot about the opportunities available for growth. Are there any risks associated with this business that you feel a buyer should be aware of?
Not really. I mean, I would know after 15 years, right? But I don't think there's any risk available. There's some things that we worried about in the beginning that proved to be not a problem, like liability. That's one of the things when we started. Is this going to be a liability problem with photographers shooting our customers? And as it turns out, after 15 years, I can tell you it's not a problem. Never was a problem. Probably never going to be a problem.
As you said, you've been doing this for 15 years, so it's likely that you've seen a lot of the issues that are going to be thrown at you, and you've also had new competitors come and you've pushed them all out of the market because you're the best.
Yep, they tried, they failed. We are and the other ones are the only ones standing. So that's a good sign.
Definitely. How much work are you currently doing to maintain the business as is?
Well, I'm embarrassed to say that I don't put any work in it, not once whatsoever. We have the operations manager who does all the work. Sometimes once a month or every 2 months, I get an email from her asking me a question. I'll answer it. Once in a while, there's something that needs to be improved as far as the software. I'll ask the developer to fix it. But on a day-to-day basis, I put zero time.
That sounds like a lot of hours. No. So what exactly is the operations manager doing?
Okay, so she's doing everything from recruiting the photographers, which is a whole process that if you want to talk to me about it, I can talk to you about how awesome it is, because it is very, very good. If I may say so myself, because I designed it. So the recruitment of the photographers, she does, and she's following up with customers and photographers to make sure that the job is being done in the optimal way and everybody's doing what they're supposed to do in the timely fashion. She'll talk to customers if they have an issue, like if they need to reschedule. She'll talk to some partners and deal with them if they need help with whatever, a customer or an order or whatever, stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much what she's doing part-time. The operations manager, she's one of our photographers. That's how we recruited her to do this job. So she's not only understanding the business from an operations standpoint, she also understands the business as a photographer, right? Because she's one of our photographers.
How exactly, you have me really curious, how exactly do you find the photographers that you want to recruit?
Okay, so first of all, a lot of photographers come to us. They find out about us. I don't know how, but they do find out about us. They apply online, and then we take them through some sequence and some steps that they have to do before we even talk to them, because we want to make sure. Look, there's a lot of flakes, right? And when it comes to photography, there's even more flakes out there. people who just have a camera and they call themselves photographers. So we want to make sure that we only deal with professional photographers, people who do that for a living. So then once they fill out the form, they get an email saying, thank you for applying. And then they have to fill out some details. They have to upload their samples. They have to fill out their bio and all those kind of things. And then after they're done with that, they get another email, and now it's telling them, okay, now we want you to watch this webinar that we created. And in the webinar, there's like a secret word that they have to finish the webinar to know what the word is. And now we know that they finished watching the webinar that explains exactly how we work. Because it doesn't make sense to us to let our operations manager explain this every single time on the phone. So they have to watch the webinar. We make sure that they finish it by asking them a secret, like a question about it. And once they replied correctly, they get another email, and then we schedule an interview with them. And the operations manager has the interview with them. She makes sure that, whatever you ask in an interview, making sure that they have the right attitude, that, that they will do a good job for us. And then that's it. They're plugged into our system and they go live. They're ready to receive customers.
It sounds like a pretty grueling process. Rigorous. Sure, you find only the best photographers.
Yeah, we want them to put a little bit of effort to show how serious they are. Like I said, digital camera call themselves photographer nowadays. And this actually hasn't changed since we started. Even though when we started, digital photography was not as common. That's how long ago it was. Okay. Most of the photographers didn't even have digital equipment back then. But we always, from the beginning, we only accepted photographers with digital cameras. So because it's so widespread and everybody calls themselves a photographer, we just want them to make a little effort to show that they're serious, to know what it's about before they even sign up with us. And then if they're serious, they finish the process and they join.
You've mentioned before that the technology associated with this business, the back end of the website, being able to expand into other markets, everything that we've talked about. So are there any special skills that a new owner coming in will need to teach themselves about this business, or is it all things that you'll be able to run through with them?
Well, the owner is not necessarily going to do this kind of work, right? Because we have the operations manager who does everything. Okay. The owner, hopefully, they will do the marketing. They will get people to the website. That will be their job. Now, if they want to get their hands dirty, that's okay, no problem. The backend is very user-friendly, very straightforward. There's nothing about it that's exotic and weird that you'll have to learn, and how to do. Maybe a couple of little things that needs a little bit of explanation, but other than that, it's very straightforward. If they really want to do it, they can. Or if they just want to look around and see what's happening, they can do it.
And if they have any questions, you're willing to help them out during the transition period?
Yes, absolutely.
So when that happens, would that be in emails or Skype call, or what are you willing to offer in terms of support?
Whatever is necessary. If it's a very visual thing, it would make sense to just jump on Skype and kind of show them like a screen share, versus exchanging back and forth emails. So whatever is the most effective way, that's what we'll do.
And I'm sure that's really reassuring for someone who is a little intimidated by this stuff, that you're willing to give them the support and time to walk them through and make sure that they're prepared to grow this. Because as you said before, your main goal in selling the business is to find someone who can make it a passion and grow the business more.
Right. And don't forget, we also have the operations manager who can answer any questions. She's staying, hopefully she's staying on board and she's available. She understands the back end just as much as I do, so it's not going to be a problem.
She's willing to stay on board and help out, and there's plenty of help with the transition.
Yep.
Would you commit to a non-compete?
Absolutely, no problem.
And obviously, the best case scenario is that someone comes along and gives us a 100% cash offer of what we're looking for. But if that didn't happen, would you be open to negotiations about other payment methods, like, an earn-out or something like that?
Not as open to those kind of deals, just because I feel like the price is already very, very low from what Look, I know this business more than anybody, right? I know how much it costs to develop and how much it costs. I mean, it's an old domain. I know what's the potential. I know all those things. So from my perspective, the price is already extremely low. And the reason I'm willing to go for it is because really, like I said, we want to move on. We want to do other things. So it's fine, and I feel like it's a good enticing price for somebody who wants to run with it and kind of make something amazing out of it. So, but, dealing with different deals, it's probably not as appealing to me.
Something that I meant to ask earlier, and it slipped my mind, but I want to go back to it. Included in the sale of this business are 2 domain names, and one of them is listed as unused.
Right.
Why is that?
Well, sometimes you buy the .com and the .net and the .info and the .me or whatever, just so that nobody else gets it, right?
Okay, that makes sense. So you have one active one, which is your website, and then you have
Mhm.
another very similar URL just to make sure that no one else could get it.
That's right.
Okay, that makes sense. I have one final question for you, Marav, but before we get to that, I want to run through the quick summary of the business again. It was
Hmm.
built in May of 2003, has a monthly revenue of $9,443, expenses of $7,550 to make for a net profit of $1,893, which is built on a 12-month average. Included in the sale of this business are 2 domain names, one of them is unused, a website, social media accounts, which include Facebook and Twitter, and over 12,000 customer information, including mailing address and email addresses. Marav, what is your best 30-second pitch on why someone should purchase this business?
Okay, so if you want a business that's completely hands off as far as operations and somebody else is taking care of it, and if you're passionate about marketing and that's kind of your thing, or you think that you can bring some life into this business even more than it is now with low hanging fruit like marketing, SEO, a little bit social media, that's the business for you because that's what it needs. And that's why we don't do anything right now. We don't do it at all. So this is an opportunity for anybody who's interested in doing anything like that, taking something to the next level just by marketing.
It certainly sounds like a business with a strong foundation and, like you said, plenty of opportunity for growth, even with only putting marketing. If that's what you bring to the table, you can grow this business even more. And again, it's a huge market. So like you said before, if you get even 1% of that market share, you're going to have a very, very profitable business.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here with me today. I've enjoyed our chat, and I really, really wish you the best, and I hope you find that perfect person to take over and put their passion into it.
Thanks, Jake. That was a pleasure talking to you.
Yes, it really was. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that will take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing site and want more information, become a depositor today. All you have to do is click the button, Make a Deposit, and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.